Okay, we have a game. And immediately Faith, or Fatih, finds it amusing that this is a Cuman's mirror match. So a rated 1v1, both players choosing Cumans. So this promises to be something quite interesting. Not often I've seen a mirror match with Cumans before. So both players will be able to put down a second TC when they get straight to the feudal age. So the main advantage of this civilization is countered immediately by the other because they're both Cumans. So the map is enclosed, which gives a reasonable amount of protection for each player's TC. All they need to do is just wall up the front of it and they're completely protected. And then you have a ring of stony ground on the outside that can't be built on or over. So you can't wall over it, can't build on it. So it's just something to be aware of. And then most of the resources are beyond that unbuildable ring. So more berries on the outside, gold, stone, etc. out there for the taking. So blue, Fatih, blue, and Eagle Handy in red. So blue has prioritized taking the elephant straight away over the ox. Whereas Handy has decided that the ox are more important at the moment and he'll get to the elephant sooner. Well, later. He'll get to him later. And later is in fact now, as the first elephant is brought in. So slight advantage economically for blue at this stage, if we just go by the resources collected. So more food's coming quicker off the first elephant here, and he's already through that. And he's not taking any chances. So his ox here, hidden right at the back of the base. He must have had some bad experiences where they've been stolen in the past on this map. Even now he's not even sure that's the safest part. Whereas Red's just happy to keep them close by. He's working on this first elephant here. Now just starting to get a bit of a protective wall going here. So scouting wise, blue is prioritizing his own quadrant. And if we go back and take a look at red doing much the same. So neither knows exactly where the other is at this stage of the game. Still very early doors in the game at the 6-minute mark. But blue has, a slight advantage in resources collected. 1 extra villager. 2 extra villagers now. So Handy must have reorganized his build slightly to take loom early on, and with a little bit of idle time has allowed blue to have more villagers at play at the moment, plus the taking of the elephant first means that more resources are in the bank. So he's going to be up to feudal in a really good time, much quicker than Handy. So we'll have a slight advantage to get that second TC down quickly, and might even get something on the field to go and pressure Handy. So up now, Handy is going to be there soon. Still needs 100 and so food, but he's working on it. So both players are out into the exterior of the map. So we have the mill down there for Handy, same mill down here for blue. And so both players went up on 20 vills. And resources collected is much closer now. Okay, so usually when you use the cumins, you've got to make sure that you have the 275 wood in the bank to be able to put the TC down straight away when you hit feudal. So both players look like they should have that under control. So blue's going to be up in 10 seconds, and it's going to be a minute later for Handy. Alright, so blue's sending a whole bunch of villages, 13 of them, plus the one out here, 14 vills out here. So the TC goes down between the gold and the stone, not a bad place. And Handy is now sending vills out to the exterior, where the same is likely to take place here. I'm guessing the town centre is going to go down here. So both players playing in pretty much mirror image fashion to each other. They've both sought a very similar location for the second TC, and yep, as I say, there it goes. But blue just has the advantage that he's down first. He's a whole minute ahead of Handy. So villagers queued up in just one of the TCs here. Needs to split them up and get that more efficient villager production happening. But at least he does have the TC down. Handy is still, you know, a good minute behind in terms of being able to produce out of both. So now blue has rectified that and it's got a more even split. Okay, so Handy now has the second TC up and still yet to task anything there. Again, same problem, needs to deprioritize a villager out of there and get the production going out of here. So 3 vills ahead, we have the blue player. No military production buildings down yet though. We do have Handy that has trapped the blue scout inside. So that's going to be frustrating for blue. He's not going to be able to discover any more about the map, but he's going to know everyone's name in here. Very unwelcome house guest. So all Handy needs to do is just make a single spear, and that'll take care of that. So Handy now knows exactly where blue is, scouted out the blue base. And just getting a bit more information about exactly where he's sent the extra vills beyond the stone circle. And so here's the spear from Handy, which is going to track down that blue horse at some stage. So 39 vills. So massive eco lead for the blue player over Handy. Lots of idle time here. So Handy hasn't really done a good job of getting the food production down. So unfortunate misbalance of the economy here. So blue definitely knows how to play the humans better. And I'm just interested to see how long this lasts. So it's like a merry-go-round, round and round the circle, and I think blue's given up. And yeah, that's going to go down.
Yes.
And blue sees the humor in that one. Okay, so blue moving into military now. So the barracks is up. Stables will be down somewhere shortly, I'm sure. So Handy is getting the stable down first. Handy, should be a fun match. Never had a cumin mirror before. We'll see what blue thinks about that, who is suddenly housed. So red with a bit of, well, I wouldn't call it a lead, but he has military production buildings down. Blue yet to make a stable, more focused on the economy. And so there's an extra minute of idle TC time for red, so hasn't been able to make nearly as many villages. So he's 5 villages down. So that's a magnified consequence of being a minute later to feudal than blue. Blue, with good use of his TC, was able to get a couple more villages out. So that's resulted in a few more 100 resources. But I think both players are trying to head for castle. Blue's going to be there first again. So he's got plenty of food. He's just lacking a little bit of the gold. Whereas Handy has the gold there. And he now has the food. And so Handy's caught up a little bit. So both are going to be in castle at essentially the same time. So well played from Handy to catch up in that deficit. Hadn't bothered to make any military during that whole time from either player. So it was always going to be a fast castle attempt. And blue is going into the lead into castle with an extra 6 vills. So good walling from blue here. So he's really putting effort into protecting this area where he's collecting gold. Whereas Handy is a lot more exposed. Hasn't really decided to prioritize that. He's very well protected in the inner circle here. Even left the spear in here because he's not made any gates. Blue has the gate over here. So between the two of them, this is the better setup. The defense here is much better from blue. So that's something that red could learn. So similar techs are coming in for both players. So the forging is in for both. So is the armor. Handy has the bloodlines in, but bloodlines is also coming in now for blue player. Okay, so this is where it's going to be a little bit more interesting. So how long do they wait before they go on the charge? So we've got Handy down here just patrolling the area just to make sure he gets a heads up on any advance. And Handy has gone for the 3rd TC and is going into Step Lancer. So we have 5 Step Lancer on the field and he's decided to go around the back. So patrolling with his scout, he's decided that he thinks blue is built up here. So he's hoping to try and go around and catch blue unaware down the far side of the base. But he's not going to really find much damage there. So blue's done a fantastic job of being fully protected in each of these camps. And he does have the bigger army, but he's just not really going to be able to do much with these. He's going to be able to break in as blues comes across now. So it looks like we're going to have a simultaneous attack here. So red is there first. Blue's just decided to park here though. So we've got knights out for blue, step lancers for red, and the lancers decide they're going to get in here. And blue maybe now thinking about bringing the knights back. No, he decides to press forward. So, interesting. So, calling the bluff. So, he thinks he can wall this up. And he has camels out. So, a switch into camels. Perfect counter for these step lancers. Red does get some kills there, but blue is over here getting kills as well. So these camels are more than truly going to take care of those step lancers. And we see red suffering much more loss than he could inflict. So blue actually ended up killing all of those step lancers. We do have one back here guarding that relic, and blue still has all of his knight army here. So 2 Vils killed for Handy, 4 Vils killed by blue. So blue's had the better exchange so far. He has the bigger army at the moment. The monks aren't really going to do much here. They weren't in position well enough, and blue is just feasting at the moment. So another half a dozen Vil kills there. And so suddenly there's almost 15 Vil gap. So red even felt it necessary to get a tower up on this part of his base. So a bit frightened about these ones coming in. So red is persisting with the step lancer as blue continues to advance. So the 3rd TC going down for blue now. Sorry, they make that the 4th TC. He has a second one inside on the wood line now. And so blue just continuing to be an annoyance here. So red really struggling here. You should take a note out of blue's book and invest more in the defense. So that would have completely stopped blue's raid from having the effect that it had. So red just wants to consolidate a little bit here. He knows he's on the back foot. Red could be thinking about Imp if he just rebalanced his economy a little bit. But he needs to find a good combination to counter these knights. And he knows that there are camels back here. He has gone into the pikemen. So the knights are well defended from the pikes there. And so blue will have to retreat from that army. And only so far as to make sure that relic is protected. So in all of this, red scout still just patrolling here. So you can see where blue is creeping up to. And blue just deciding to allow that scout to have a pass. Alright, so red's going to advance. He thinks that he has the right numbers here to take this battle. So, good fight for red there, but plenty of camel coming in now to support these knights, and skirms as well. So a bit of everything from blue, and red sees that and he thinks, no, I'm not having that. So both players still avoiding clicking up to Imp. They need to see how this works out. So both of them pretty invested here in Castle Age. As blue makes a double and a triple thick house wall. So very strong defenses at home. Hasn't felt the need to expand beyond this. And so, yeah, red needs to have a little bit more control on that forward army. That's probably a rally point there. Misclicked. So I think he's fixed that up now as he brings all of his army forward to support the construction of this castle. So blue has clicked up to imp now. And he does have some supporting technologies coming in. And what was that? Is that a trade cart from blue? Well, it's part of the soil now. So first castle of the game up by Handy. So just adding a little bit more protection to this area to frighten off any raid. And he's going to put another TC down here for this stone as blue advances with more production buildings, some barracks, and another TC. Still nothing going on around the back here. Handy does have some military back here. So I think they might have been there guarding relics, which may... Yeah, one of them has been brought in. So one relic for Handy. Nothing for blue, as he puts yet another TC down over here. So Handy does now have more vills than blue. So 112 vills to 102. He does have a good army. So very, very interesting game at the moment. Score lead is there with blue. And I'm just going to pause that because I want to see why that is. If we go into the statistics and so a military score. Okay, that's probably due to the kill death ratio. So blue has destroyed more resources than red, which gives him the highest score, I believe. Otherwise, the economy is also ahead for blue. Okay, all right, so I'm satisfied with that. Okay, so resources collected. More kills for blue gives him the score lead. But at this stage of the game, that doesn't particularly matter because it's all about what's on the field right now. And going by the numbers, blue has the stronger army. So 1700 to 3100 is almost outclassed 2 to 1. So if blue was to attack right now, red would be pretty much decimated. And look at all these technologies coming in. So an upgrade into halberdier. And then we're also going to have the blast furnace in. So Handy missing that one. He's going for the bodkin arrow. So both players really prioritizing to have the most tech possible. And blue caught up in villages now and now has basically double the military. So red is deciding to pop up over here. Has camped on this gold here, but here we have the main event. So blue deciding it's time to go in for it. Does have this castle here, so the steppe lancers are going to be chased down by the camels, and we're going to have halberdier against pike, which is a mismatch. And these camels are going to take care of these steppe lancers if they can be caught. So very good composition there for blue. Red does win this fight with the help of the castle though. So decides, okay, well that worked well, I'll have another one of those please. So he's working into a position to take more of the resources over time, get set up over here. And these steppe lancers did survive, they've outrun their camels, although getting caught now. But still, not bad. So no longer double the army for blue. So that overall, that must have been a pretty good engagement for red. So 3 relics in for red now. And he does have a Trebon. blue up to the 70 military count and population maxed. So red has never got near the 200. And it's kind of struggling with resources for gold. And that's because, oh, right, so we did have a raid come in here. And that has split the forces of Handy. So he's taking his halberdier away from there. Could have used it back here. And this castle is in real trouble. So how do you stop 7 capped rams? I don't think you can. So he's cleared up that raid, but there's real trouble here. He just doesn't have the military anymore. It's 80 to 40. And all that Handy has are the halberdiers, and Blue thinks that's quite funny. Alright, so a bit of a counter raid from Red over here. But I think that's the turning point of the match. There's just no way to match this army. So I think Red needs a bit of a miracle here. So he does have various outposts set up. So he can reboom. Still protected in here. Needs something for these capped rams though, as the forward siege workshop comes in. So he's attempting a switch now into long swordsman. So giving up on the step lancer halberdier. And Blue deciding he wants to expand now. He's going to see this up here. And he's going to have to rethink what he wants to do. But I think Red is in all sorts of trouble. The main starting base is gone. There's nothing to really take out these halberdier. So we do have some long swordsmen that'll be coming out. There's a few monks. Yes, not pretty if you're in Red's corner. So Blue has an amazing economy now. So 120 vils, population capped with 80 military on the field. So Blue does get through here, decides that he needs to take care of this. And so, yeah, Red is just going to struggle with 58 vils. Doesn't really have anything in place to counter this composition. Has tried to go into archers here. So elite skirms. And trying to get up to champion, I imagine. So Red's not really looking over here. Those vils are all going to get taken out slowly but surely. As this ball of, well, it's just one, well, no rams now, but there's going to be plenty more on the way. So long swordsmen are coming out now. It's too little too late. Blue again just moving forward with the production line. So really good use of the map. Really good at moving forward. So a bit of a reaction now. Vils are firing back. But yeah, looks like Blue has discovered everywhere that Red is. And so now it's really just a matter of time, I think. Food economy just not there for red now. So plenty of wood. Gold is there for a bit of a last stand. But it just can't produce quick enough. There's only 3 swordsmen in queue. So yeah, got to hand it to blue. Outplayed. Handy tried to set up base again. And so blue seems pretty happy with himself. He's all smiles. So when is Handy going to call it? Maybe there's something else he wants to accomplish. Maybe he wants to spend all his res on something. Maybe he wants to make blue work for it, perhaps. Maybe he still thinks that he can do it. So, yeah, just the food's the issue here. Just doesn't have the resource that is needed for his infantry line. So this town centre never actually went up in the end. And all nice and peaceful out here. So I mean, it's still a fair bit of city to demolish. I mean, red has planted quite a bit of stuff down here. So if you had the resources, maybe could have mounted a bit of a counter-attack. But it was just the story of this game, I think, just a little bit too late. And blue didn't squander whatever lead he had. Just allowed blue to get on top of red in this particular game. So a few of, maybe that's what he was waiting for. Just wanted to get the satisfaction of getting a few two-handed swordsmen out there. See his investment into the technology pay off. Yeah, so blue is very pleased with himself there, as he should be. He's won this game fair and square. As the relics now come out. And so GG called and reciprocated by blue. So yeah, I mean, very interesting game. So so the late game was it was just very one-sided. I think we can all see that. But I think there was just some key moments back in the beginning of Castle Age. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the game. So let me just find where Castle Age came in about 20 minutes. Yep, here. So started to research. So I think being walled up like this was number one, why blue won. And then just getting a little bit lucky with the choice of units to have knights go forward and then to research some camels straight away to take care of these step lancers. I think was a pretty genius move. So a very good response to the situation. So it looks like he almost wanted to bring them back to help fend off the step lancers. But sending them forward to an undefended settlement like this has really paid off for blue. So I think this point, villages, 67 to 69, very even. Military on the field is very even, 13, 14 apiece, but blue just getting much better kills here from an undefended home base, and then getting chased out with the camels has set the scene where red just really never recovered from. So allowing those steppe lancers to die, and then blue not really suffering any losses at all, not having any spearmen or anything in place. And I mean, couldn't even really get the barracks up there with the breakdancing monk. Let's take another look at that. Oh, it's a dance-off. It's ray gun. Ray gun wins. So someone won something. And then they go off to have a beer afterwards. So, yeah, for me, that's where it was won and lost. So, well played to blue. Chose the right things and executed correctly and won the game. All right, so better luck next time, Handy. And we will see you in the next one.